past couple years, been trying to bring a show to Houston, and Houston, this is for you.
What's going on? This is the first edition of How Do You See the Game? It's my pleasure to be with y'all, man. To be talking sports with y'all. Anybody watching, I appreciate you. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. But I ain't gonna hold you. We're gonna be talking about your Houston Texans today. Had their first game yesterday, and we managed to do something that we have never done in our history. We tied. Now, I know I speak for everybody when I say it would have been a lot better to come out with a dub, but that's just not always the case. Both teams played hard. I say the Colts played a little harder down the stretch, but all in all, I think there's a lot of positives and negatives that we could take away from this game. Now, if I start with the negatives, and I'll try to be quick with them, we got to start with the running back position. I just feel like Rex Burkhead had too many touches. Let's be honest. Dameon Pierce, he was a fan favorite since he got drafted. He was a talk of camp. He was a talk of preseason, and we're all excited to see. Sorry about this plane going by. We're all really excited to see him get his touches and to see what his role would be. But the way Rex Burkhead outsnapped him was pretty insane. You know, and I understand Rex Burkhead is a veteran, and he knows where he's supposed to be. He's a good pass catcher. He's tough. He picks up his blocks. And I think down the stretch, we needed that. I understand, but I feel like the juice factor of breaking tackles, breaking that first tackle, making plays when your offensive line breaks down at a certain situation was a lot more conducive for Pierce. And it just wasn't a lot of juice for Rex. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure Rex Burkhead would be in the league if we weren't employing it. That's what I came away thinking. And I just feel like there should have been a lot more attention to detail put, towards the running back position if this is the scenario we could have seen ourselves being in. You know what I'm saying? We got to be better with that. Another thing is the wide receiver position. Nico Collins was talk of the preseason. He made plays. Big body, sure hands, as far as I know. Routes were looking crisp. And for some reason, I found myself looking at packages on the field, and I'm saying, Conley is in wide receiver packages instead of Nico Collins. And we cut Conley. So we know he's not as good as Nico Collins. So it's like, I feel like we failed at putting the best players on the field as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Nico Collins that just came off the field off running 18 straight plays. It was just puzzling to me, man. And it ain't just because he was on my fantasy team. Yes, he's on my fantasy team. But we got to do better in putting the best players on the field. Period. I'll say this: the offensive line didn't do horrible, which is actually saying a lot, because if you know, as a Texans fan, offensive line has been horrible for years. But I think we're getting better. The one thing I say is that the biggest play of the game was some kind of miscommunication, because when Davis Mills got blindsided and fumbled that ball, the momentum completely switched, and we just got to find a way to protect our quarterback. I don't know if it was a back, I don't know if it was a tackle or guard. We just got to be better. I'll say this: the center, we might need a new center. Britt, he's a tough guy. I heard that he was tough and all this, but we might need a new center. But the positives, man, I think Davis Mills really had some stretches where he completed numerous completions in a row, and he was able to hit O.J. Howard, who walked off the street and made an impact for 2 TDs, and there were some solid throws, and he did some solid things. I think it wasn't until the second half where I said, yeah, he's a second-year quarterback. But I think all in all, it was positive. It was positive. And I think the defense the first half was spectacular, right? And it wasn't really until the second half that we kind of fell apart. But that's when Taylor started to gash us. I mean, they were running. They were running some set. I can't think of the name of the set right now, but he was just gashing us. You know, he was in the back. He was standing back there with the shotgun. I think they were in the shotgun. He was standing back there with the quarterback, and they just ain't handing to him, and he's just finding a lane, and he's just bullying people. So that's something we got to improve on. But listen, we played extremely hard. We looked, and the Colts are a team that people think can do a lot. I know that's, people don't want to hear this. Oh, so just because we kind of hung in, you giving it? No, but if you've watched the Texans over the years, we didn't look like the same Texans. I think another positive is the coaches, Lovey and Pep Hamilton, and if you want to extend it to Nick Caserio, it's just these guys know what is expected of them. They know what they need to be doing, and everything just looks a little different, and that's encouraging in itself. So Texans fans, I know it's not an easy fix. I was off the bandwagon for a long time as well, but I think there's a lot of positivity going on with the Texans. So with that being said, we're going to wait for week 2, and we're going to see what it's looking like. But we'll be back with more updates, of course. I appreciate everybody checking in and watching this. Remember to subscribe and hit that like button, and I appreciate y'all. We out.